Okay. Hey, we're here with Beau Baron at the first round of the 2020 WORCS Championship. And Beau, we've noticed, first off, you were able to win last year again. So how many times, I'll ask you if you lost the championship, because you're pretty consistent at winning.
Yeah, I've lost quite a few. I think I've done this about 11 years and in the pro class, and I've won 7 of the 11.
Well, that's great. And then we've noticed this year there's like suddenly 14 pro entries. And what have you seen over the years in the different amount of turnout in the pros in those 11 years you've raced?
Yeah, I mean, the peak was probably, I don't know, I think my 3rd year racing pro, I think we had 42 guys at Atalano. And, you know, that was quite a bit for ATVs because the 20 rider gate is full. So we had a couple rows.
That's big. That's big.
Yeah, it was
What
awesome.
year was that?
It was awesome. I think had to have been around like 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then how did it go after 10? I mean, has the turnout...
Yeah, it slowly declined, you know, just because of the economy and everything, you know. Like everything started to taper off in '08, but the quad guys were still strong for a couple years, and then it just started to fade off. It hit us later than it did the dirt bikes, and I've noticed over the years, you know, like usually what happens with the dirt bike scene, the quads are 2 years behind. So like the dirt bike is starting to increase, and you know it started to increase about a year or two ago, and the factory started coming back to WORCS, and now we're going to start seeing more and more ATV racers and pros coming back and stuff like that. I think you know, we're just about our 2nd year, and it's going to start climbing again, and I'm excited about it. We're about due, you know. Hopefully, if this election goes good, we'll keep it rolling. Everybody will have a little extra spending money, like they have right now.
Yeah. Do you see? Now you race bikes too, so do you see maybe the potential of some of the bike guy pros coming over?
Yeah, I've got two this year. I know that my buddy Nick, I let him race a practice bike here last year at the last round, and he had so much fun. He went and got himself a quad, and he's going to be racing pro on the ATV this weekend. And also Travis Damon and his brother, they got a quad, and they've been sharing that thing, and they're going to take turns racing it at each round because they're going to be here working anyway. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see you know, more guys get interested in the ATV for sure.
Yeah, it's a good time to see it growing, and it's sort of like a huge jump from last year all of a sudden.
Yeah, with the Pro-Am kids moving up that did, and the other couple guys that came on and a couple of pros coming back, it's a pretty good turnout. I'm excited.
Do you go out and recruit guys to come out and race pro when you're racing other races, bike races? Do you ever talk to them about doing that?
Not really. No, not too often. Everybody's pretty much going to do what they're going to do. But like with the ATV, it was fun to take my buddy Nick and put him on one. You know, it was the end of the year, and I had nothing to lose. You know, no damage to my bike, whatever. It's the last round, and you know, I let him ride it so he could actually see how much fun it is. You know, an average guy doesn't. You know, you think of an ATV and it's sketchy or whatever, or they're super narrow. But you get on a race bike, it's totally different than just buying a showroom ATV.
Mm-hmm. What do you do to get ready for the new season? Your quad looks in really great shape.
Yeah, I try to build a new one every year. You know, you get it and you frame it down to nothing, and you get the frame powder coated or gusseted, then powder coated, and then you just go from there. Pretty much every part isn't OEM.
Do you run the same quad all year?
Yeah, I run the same quad all year. I try to make it half the season and have it rebuilt, and then run it the rest of the year, and then freshen it up for a practice bike the following.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've been doing this a long time, and you've been racing Hondas the whole time, haven't you?
Yeah, pretty much since I started. The first year I rode Suzuki's because it was easy for me to break in to the sport on a Suzuki, because they were nice and wide from the factory, and you know, with a pipe and a program, the bike actually was competitive. And so I started with the Suzuki's, and my first year, even though I broke a chain at one of the rounds, and got a DNF, I still ended up third for the year, and it was enough for me at the time. There were enough teams to where I could get a ride, and I got a ride, and I won a championship the following year.
Well, that's good. Do you see, like, you're one of the top guys, do you hear anything from factories coming in, or?
Nothing yet, and it's going to be a while, because they're all gung-ho right now on side-by-sides, and you know, it's a big deal. Kawasaki's got some new stuff coming out. They put out a huge works purse. You know, Can-Am's here with factory support. I'm on a factory Polaris team. But there's no effort going into the ATV right now, because side-by-sides are so much easier to just drive and have somebody with you, and you know, as a whole, just go out to off-road facility and have a good time.
Yeah, so what was it like riding 42 guys? That's 2 full gates at least.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it was weird too. Sometimes the way Sean did it, Sean would let all of us race, and then other rounds he'd make us qualify, and 20 guys would essentially not even get to race the main. Yeah. So, but we had an open pro class back then also, and you could sign up for that. And there were different, you know, different, other than the main ATV, there was like an option, you know. So it was pretty cool. And I think, you know, back then it was like it was a bigger deal, and these new guys are starting to you know, to realize that we need like pro pit row and a reason to set stuff up and you know, have display and show off our equipment and everything, and I think that's going to help it grow quite a bit, you know.
do you see any increase in outside sponsors?
Not at the moment, but I think it'll follow as numbers increase. You know, once they see the presence that it is growing, and then you know, it'll just result in product sales and stuff like that. And then once everything starts moving again, they'll be coming back in for sure.
So in the past, tomorrow we're running in 75 minutes, hour and a quarter. In the past, the races, I mean, they've only been like 50 minutes. Now this is the first year again we're having a separate pro race. What was it like before as far as times and that?
Yeah, when I first started a long time ago, it was 2 hours. Our races were 2 hours, and you know, we'd pit right at the hour mark, and then they dropped it to an hour and a half, which was fine. I mean, it just depended. You know, it just changed things. You know, you could run your motor a little hotter, and then Sean busted it down to like an hour, and then it was just like, you know, I mean, we were going pretty fast before, but then it turned into a full-on sprint race. You know, you didn't have to pit or anything. You didn't need to have a setup or dry brakes or anything like that, and then now we're going back to where we're going to have a mandatory pit, and I think that's awesome.
Do you find the longer races favor you, or?
They used to, but I'm getting older now.
So you like the shorter ones?
No, yeah.
And plus, you're racing 2 side-by-side races, so.
Yeah, I'm good right now with an hour and 15. I wish I would have had more time to train this off season, but I was busy building a new quad and working on side-by-sides for the year, and you know, it is what it is. And now that everything's built, hopefully after this round I can get some seat time in.